The toughest league in the world. The best riders from around the globe. 10 teams of 7, head-to-head over 15 heats to become the Elite League champions. Sky Bet Elite League Speedway, Eastbourne v Oxford tomorrow at 8, Sky Sports 1.
This is Sky Sports 1.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
Stunned, and that's just us, by the greatest player in the world. England's celebration shattered by Zidane. Rodney Marsh is here to try and make sense of it all. Please give us a call. Lamplight, Frank's cracking header gives England the advantage, but it's all lost in the dying seconds. The skipper misses from the spot. What a turning point. How now to lift the lads for the Switzerland game? But there's no question, because Zidane is the man with 2 in 2 minutes, and England fans everywhere see delight turn to despair in the blink of an eye. Number to ring, 0900 9100 200, 0900 9100 200. From the Republic of Ireland, it's 1550 718 728, 1550 718 728. You can email us at youron@skysports.com, or you can just text Youron, that's all one word, then your comment, then your name to 84401. That's 84401. All yours.
Don't ask me.
Staggering. Absolutely staggering. But I mean, the two of us are watching it, and it was tension. It was football at the highest level, wasn't it?
Well, I've had two thoughts in the last 20 minutes, and one of them is, if you don't enjoy that, you don't like football. That was absolute drama. It had everything, and there's times in football, you know, Rob, whether you're a supporter of England or France or whatever, or just a general football supporter, there's times in football where to try to analyse and look at a game like that, words are not actually words are not adequate. Bobby Robson's a great example. It's a great example of that. But there's sometimes in football where words are just not adequate, and you can't make any sense of it. And this is just one of those games that comes along, and it was just surrealistic.
Yes, indeed. The only thing you would say that. The guy's a genius, isn't he, Zidane? And
yeah, but we know that, don't we?
He kept going and kept going, and you know, I don't know.
But before the tournament, everybody, and rightly so, is saying that Zidane is the best player in the world. Right? We know that. We know that he's going to give him an opportunity, and you know that he's going to come through more often than not. And I thought the Heskey foul, the foul that he made. Right at the death there, you know, just when you just don't need something stupid, it gives away a foul like that. And then Steven Gerrard's decision to play that ball back, almost blind, must have been blind, otherwise he wouldn't have played it. Even if he plays it back to David James, what's he going to do with it? The ball was bouncing anyway. He's putting him under pressure anyway. Steven Gerrard would never do it. I mean, that's one in of all people, that's 1 in 10,000 chance when he did that. And it was just surrealistic that you don't. But why do we do this? Why do England tend to lose our heads when everything seems to be going your way? And the penalty missed by Beckham.
Well, you said at the time one goal is never enough, and you said turning points.
Yeah.
And
in big football matches, there are turning points.
Absolutely
and that was one of the biggest.
Have your say tonight.
Try and have your say.
Try and have your say. I mean, we make no apologies about it. Like everybody else, I'm sure, we're absolutely
gobsmacked.
State of shock.
Yeah. We're like any other football fan. Yeah. I am. I'm like any football fan at the moment. We're all probably sitting at home going,
got the shakes.
What happened?
I've got the shakes.
What happened?
Dear me. Incredible. Bob Kennedy, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Bob. What do you want to say?
Hi, guys. Naturally, I'm very disappointed tonight. You know, I'm calling from Lidleham, which is on the borders there, Liverpool. I'm looking out at the River Mersey. And, I've got to, I'm very sad, you know what I mean? I'm
Don't
glad
jump
the river's
in.
about half a mile away at the moment. But there's good news and there's bad news.
Go on then.
Give us some
The
good
bad
news, Bob.
is we got beat. The good news is that Rushden and Diamonds will beat Switzerland and Croatia.
Well,
So we're going through to the next round anyway.
Oh, I tell you
And
what,
football was the
Bob.
winner tonight.
You're a brave man there.
Football won. It was an excellent game for us. I'm so disappointed, but I'm going to watch that game when my nerves have settled. It was a marvellous view tonight. Marvellous. I'm in tears. But the game of football was the winner tonight.
yeah, I know, Bob, and we're with you. I like it. You like it. It's like an emotionally drained type of thing.
Well,
And
people all over the world tonight that saw the game, people, no matter where you come from, you look at a football match like that and you say, that's what football's all about. The drama of a football match. David Beckham, one of the most highly paid players in the world, one of the biggest stars in the world, misses a penalty. His counterpart, and the best player in the world, who also plays for Real Madrid, scores the penalty with the last kick of the game. You couldn't write a script for that.
And
you couldn't.
It's even now just taking time to settle. There were so many questions whether it should have been a sending off when Rooney went through and got the penalty. You could say whether David James should have been sent off for the penalty for the incidents with Thierry Henry.
But they're incidental things to the bigger picture.
To the big, without question. I'm just trying.
Oh, no, you're
thinking
right.
So much happened in it, And,
you're right.
And then Ledley King had an outstanding performance. Sol Campbell was immense.
Oh, I thought Sol Campbell was titanic tonight. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And yet, isn't football funny? He doesn't get a chance to defend anything.
No.
You know, the foul's a free kick, top corner, brilliantly taken free kick, but Heskey gives away the foul for that. Sol Campbell can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Then the bad back pass by Gerrard, the blind back pass, Campbell can't react to that. Everything that was in front of him, Rob, that he actually had anything to do with, he was absolutely faultless. And so was Ledley King, by the way.
As well,
Ledley King was terrific.
David Wilson, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, David.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, David.
Dear mate, remember...
Oh, you're a Scottish supporter, aren't you?
Oh, hey, I spoke to you on Sunday night on the radio,
Yeah, I
mate.
did, yes. Go on, David. What do you want to say?
Listen, honestly, mate, I'm absolutely gutted. Seriously. I spoke to you on the radio on Sunday
Yeah,
night.
you did.
You don't sound too gutted, Dave.
I've had a few beers, come on.
Oh, go on. All right, then, go on.
Listen, honestly, the thing that worries me is psychologically, I think the nature of that defeat could affect England in the next couple of games. If, for example, they had been 2-0 down, right, and come back with a goal, then it might be a different story. But the nature of that defeat, I hope not. Seriously, I do hope not. But I think that could affect them in the head.
You're right.
Coming into the next couple of games, you know.
Shattering,
You're right. Well, when we play on the 17th, don't we? Mm-hmm. So we've got 4 days to regroup. Ericsson will have his work cut out. He's obvious. I would think, without a shadow of a doubt, barring injuries, he will play the same team. I think he'll start the same team because England did nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of things about the way the game ended up that I disagree with, but you only can disagree in hindsight. At the time, when he took Rooney off, I thought Rooney was terrific. You just wonder, don't you? And looking back and in retrospectively, you could say that could have been a mistake. But
I heard just a clip of his interview afterwards, and he said the last 10 minutes he felt the French had run out of ideas, which, to be fair, we were sitting there and we thought that. But
they had,
which was a great credit to England. I mean, he's the coolest man in the world, but I think even Sven was in shock tonight after that.
Do you know what, Rob? I think everybody is. If you're honest, and it's our job to analyse football, if you're honest, I'm like any other punter tonight. I'm absolutely gobsmacked that what happened and how it happened. It's just, you can't legislate for that in football.
Ben Curtis, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Ben. What do you want to say?
Yeah, basically, I've just been sat listening to you. Couldn't agree with all the points that you made. It's basically 8 or 9 minutes of a really good game of football, 2 minutes of madness from 2 players who, like you say, maybe should know better. But I think there's a lot of good things to be taken out tonight. Ledley King, I've watched for the past few days. Everyone say I don't think he should be playing. I don't think he's not experienced enough. He went in, he played a quality game of football, like he's You know, he's been there for the past few years. Rooney exactly the same. I think they just need to regroup, take a couple of days to maybe analyse what's happened. But I do think they can go out and beat the Swiss. I do think they can go out and beat the Croats. And I do think we'll go through to the next round, because I think this time around, like everyone's been saying, we've got enough quality players in the first 11. Like Rodney says, he'll probably go out and play that first 11 again on Thursday night, and I just think that we'll go through to the next round. Call it a setback, a devastating setback if you will, but I think the most annoying thing is everyone thought we would lose, but to lose like that is just, I mean, a little bit gobsmacked, if you know what I mean.
Have you ever been...
No, I agree with that.
I was going to say, in your professional career, have you ever been involved in anything like that, or on the receiving end of it, where... I mean, I'm thinking Manchester United against Bayern Munich, when... You know, 2 goals in that time but it was, from our point of view, it was fantastic.
It went our way, yeah.
But have you? I just wondered what the mood, I don't know, in the dressing room, or what the players would be saying.
I was trying to think at this level, you know, top international football, between France, who a lot of people say the best team in the world, other than Brazil. A lot of people say France is the best team in the world, and they've got the best player in the world. I was trying to think, Rob, of games at this level. And I couldn't really think of one.
A turnaround like that.
A turnaround like that, yeah. It's just one of those things that comes along once in a, you know.
Yep.
And it's just words don't do it justice. No, that's why. Do you know, I love football. Right? Yeah. I love football with a passion, right? And this is why I love it so much. It's the heartache, and it's the, you know, Trezeguet, for instance, tonight. Didn't touch the ball.
We clapped when he touched the ball with about 85 minutes gone. He had the header, to be fair, in the first half.
Yeah, he had one header in the first half.
And Henry looked like he'd lost his way as well.
Yeah,
he played so well against him.
I mean, King and Sol Campbell made Henry look like Steve Claridge tonight.
He takes some doing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it was just like Twilight Zone stuff. Yeah. In injury time, 2 goals in injury time. It's just... astonishing.
Keep your calls, emails and faxes or texts coming, because it's been quite a night. And join us after this short break.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
Sky Sports brings you live coverage of the US Open Golf Championship. The finest players in the world come together and compete for one of the greatest titles in sport. The power and the glory of the US Open, sponsored by the Royal Bank of Scotland Group, starts Thursday at 3, live on Sky Sports 1.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
Welcome back to You're on Sky Sports on the night that France have beaten England by 2-1, 2 late goals from Zinedine Zidane, who, without question, proves once again what a fantastic player he is. Give us a call, 0909 100 200, 0909 100 200. From the Republic of Ireland, it's 1550 718 728, 1550 718 728. Email us at you'reon@skysports.com. This season, you can text us, just text. You're on, that's all one word, then your comment, then your name to 84401, 84401. Not surprisingly, loads and loads of emails, Rodney, and text that we'll go through as we can. Anthony Comiskey, we've had lots from Scots, perhaps not surprisingly. Anthony Comiskey says, I don't know if he is actually a Scot, but he says, don't say England were unlucky. France had more possession. The England goal came from a free kick that shouldn't have been given. Beckham fell over his shadow. Blah, blah, blah. Nick Bailey from Scotland didn't really care if England won or lost, but I'm absolutely speechless. The French did have almost all the possession in the second half, but they hadn't done anything with it. The English were defending a lot, but very comfortably. John Wilson says, just a quick thank you to the French team for taking the hint from the English fans who were singing Are You Scotland in disguise just prior to half-time. Jim Mirren from Clydebank says, yes, Bonnie Scotland was watching. Yes, we did enjoy it. France should have won a lot more easily. England defended well for 80% of the game. France thoroughly deserved their win.
Yeah, lots here from... I got inundated with texts from Scots, all saying the same thing, and you know, that's all part of the banter, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot saying about Heskey. Why was Emil Heskey brought on and committing the foul? It was 2 mistakes actually, Rob, wasn't it? The Heskey foul and you knew that he was going to foul the guy as well, didn't you? 22 yards out, middle of the goal. You know.
You knew he was going to score.
Yeah, and you knew, as soon as the free kick was given, you knew that he was going to score. I don't know personally. I don't know how the referee marked out the 10 yards. I'd like to see that again because it looked to me as though the wall was a good distance away. You know, it wasn't one of those where the wall's right on top of the free kick.
Yes.
Yeah. So I suppose there's always that to look at. I'm not sure about that, by the way. One guy, he comes on. His name is Neil, and he's from Bury. He said, "Rod, can you explain why David James came out for the back pass with his feet?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will explain that to you, Neil. You know, in football, we talk about what's called being sold short, okay? And the back pass from Steven Gerrard sold him short. And David James' first reaction is to go to the ball. By the time he's got to the ball, which was only a matter of hundredths of a second, he's not had time to react, and he's out there with his feet. Henry touches the ball, and he was sold short, and that's the reason he did that. And the other one is I got one here from Andrew Elliott, who says, Rodney, have you been marooned on a desert island for the past few weeks?
Dave Harris
this is my summer Alan Sugar stubble.
Dear Father Christmas we've got from Dave Harris here. Gary Coburn, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Gary, what do you want to say?
Hi there.
Hiya.
I just want to say that Ledley King and Wayne Rooney were absolutely fantastic. Unbelievable performance by the two of them. But very disappointed in Beckham, not just because of the penalty miss, but his all-round game was very disappointing. And Michael Owen, especially, because I thought he just never appeared in the game at all. And I thought Darius Vassell, when he came on, at least he was showing a bit more running, and he was a bit more challenging to the defence.
Gary, could you see England losing it? Could you see that coming out? Because we couldn't.
To be honest, I didn't see it coming at all. And the thing that disappoints me is that I couldn't understand why he took Wayne Rooney off, because he was obviously causing them so many problems. I know his age is obviously a bit of a point, but you don't take your best player off when he's playing that well.
We all agree with that.
To him, for me, it was just it's like France taking Zidane off. You wouldn't do it because you know that he can change a game in a split second, and he proved it on the night. And to take him off, I thought was a bit of a ridiculous, to be honest, because I thought he was absolutely fantastic.
All right, Gary, thanks very much for that. Rick Poskett, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Rick.
Hello, mate.
Hi, what do you want to say?
Wait, I've got a question. Why was Rooney taken off?
That's what I said.
Why?
At the start of the show, at the top of the show, Rob was talking, asked me the question. I didn't understand that at all. I just didn't see that. It was one of those things that, in retrospect, you go, why? And at the time, you try and look at it. And at the time it happened, I thought, I don't know why he's doing that.
Well, the whole country groaned when Heskey came on.
Yeah, I know. We've had a lot of texts and emails tonight about that as well. Yeah, but
as soon as Heskey came on, I said we're going to lose this.
Did you?
I did. I said to the missus, I said we're going to lose this.
You should have had a bet.
I'm sorry,
you'd have got great odds.
Unless you come from Birmingham, what do you do?
All right.
Well, the two winning goals were scored. The two goals in the 91st and 93rd minute. I mean, it's just staggering.
I mean, presumably the thinking behind Sven's move was fresh legs. I mean, he took Michael Owen off, who didn't have his best game, and maybe he's thinking Rooney's run himself into the ground.
Yeah,
he'd bring a bit of pace on. But
do you know what, Rob? When you're winning 1-0 and you bring on Vassell, I can see that, right? Because he's very quick. You knock the ball over the top in the channels and let him get on the end of it, or be a nuisance. The outball
that you were talking about.
We talk about the outball, right? And they didn't have an outball, and so you do that, and Vassell goes after it, and you push up to the halfway line, and you condense the field. That's not a bad tactic, right? Taking Wayne Rooney off, I didn't understand, but when you play your best team, I think you owe it to your players to keep the best team on the pitch while they're winning, unless there's something goes wrong. And I tell you what, if you noticed, Henry and Trezeguet both had terrible games. He didn't consider taking them off.
No. OK, thanks very much for that. Steve McGee, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Steve.
Yeah, hi, Rob. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, Steve. What do you want to say?
I want to say that I think Sven's a bit of a bottler. I don't think he's got it. I think he's bottled it against Brazil, and I think he's bottled it against France.
Why? What? In what sense?
Well, I think against Brazil, you know, we were 1-0 up, and we conceded a jammy goal, and then again against France, we were 1-0 up. We were coasting for 85 minutes, and then we bottled it. I don't think you can blame Ericsson for the game against Brazil.
I think that there will be an inquest, and let's face it, it's only an hour ago, or less. There will be an inquest with these substitutions. I promise you that.
Well,
I tell you why. Because the critical point of the game ended up being the bad back pass from the blind pass from Steven Gerrard. Who's on the end of it was Thierry Henry, who really was very, very ordinary tonight. The same thing could have happened the other end to Michael Owen. Michael Owen might have been on the end of that, and it's a penalty for England.
I agree, but Rodney, we were 9 minutes away from winning the match. We were 1-0 up, coasting. He didn't have to make the substitutes. He could have let Owen and he could have let Rooney just coast along, just run up front, making a bit of trouble.
I tell you what,
tonight you're talking about?
Sorry?
Tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
There wasn't 9 minutes to go. It was in injury time.
Well, injury time.
Yeah, but Steve...
Yeah. And why make 2 substitutes then? Why do it? He's a bottler.
Well, the only thing you'd say is I mean, we're all brilliant in hindsight, because we're sitting there and we're thinking, OK, France have had a lot of possession, and you were worried about it in the second half when you said... But I couldn't see... I thought they defended so well, and I couldn't see anything going on towards... David Beckham could have made it 2-0.
Yeah.
You know, he's missed a penalty, and so to come on and say Sven's bottled it, I take your point about the substitutions.
Yeah.
But we're great in hindsight, aren't we?
What I said, Robert, I said there'll be an inquest tomorrow morning.
Yes.
By everybody when they've had a chance to spend a couple of hours discussing it all.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it at the moment, and you've got to make those decisions as an international football manager.
Yes.
And by the way, I played under Sir Alf Ramsey, so I know what it's like to see that firsthand.
Yes.
Sometimes you get it wrong. You know, people are not perfect. And I would say tonight, Ericsson got it wrong, in my opinion.
Graham Smith, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Graham.
Hello there, Rob.
Hi, what do you want to say?
Well, unfortunately, I'm a bit late in the show, so everybody's been saying what I've been saying anyway, but I'm telling you now, I agree with Rodney all the way through here. But I'm 54-year-old, Rod. I've been watching football many, many years, and you don't change anything what's not broken, right? Now, we're going along 1-0 up. Why the hell do you take Rooney off, who only 20 seconds earlier caused havoc and got us a penalty? Up steps Beckham, he misses a penalty. Anybody can miss a penalty. My own player, Pierce, missed a penalty in the last World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, not the last one. Anybody can miss a penalty. But then immediately he takes Rooney off. Why?
Yeah.
Well, now, I'm worried about the manager's passion. Now, you may not agree with this side of what I'm saying here, but I looked at him after the match. I looked at him at the goal first when we first scored. McLaren comes out, French.
Yeah, but that was animated for Sven. That's the most animated we've ever seen him, isn't it? He flew. That was it, flying up, Graham.
It's not enough for me. And at the end of a match, he's almost got a smile on his face saying, well, this is football. It's not good enough. Now, I'm telling you that our team is good enough now to win that tournament. We can recover from this result tonight. But we can't have a substitute. I mean, me personally, I'll say it now on air, but Eski's not fit to solve programmes outside the stadium. That's his best position, outside the stadium.
Hang on, that's a bit
strong. It might be a bit nasty, I'm sorry, but Rooney should have been on that pitch for 90 minutes.
I think we all agree. I think we all agree with that. And I tell you what, I think that we'll see that as well. Do you know the starting lineup against Switzerland? I believe will be the same team that started tonight. And people having a go at Michael Owen. Michael Owen will score goals for England.
Yes.
And given the chance, he will put them away. But I thought the service into Michael Owen tonight was poor again. Absolutely poor. Even in the first half, Rob, we're knocking these 40, 50-yard balls in the air. He's got 2 players on him at all time. Wayne Rooney came short, which is, good play by him, right? And Michael Owen is left, 1 against 2 at the back. And it's not as if they're knocking little balls in channels behind him for him to run onto. They're lamping balls up to him again, and I thought the service was poor.
By the same token as well, we were saying, and I don't know what the exact stats were, but France had all the possession. Yeah. France were, 1-0, they've got to go forward in the second half, but it's a dangerous game, isn't it?
Well, I said
playing on the break, but once again,
you and I
worked.
are watching it, and I said, to keep on collapsing on yourself at the highest level,
further and further
you get
and further back.
further back. You know, eventually, you will give away an opportunity. Unfortunately, you know, we just committed 2 Harry-carrying mistakes at the end. On the other side of the coin, Wayne Rooney goes away on a counter-attack, gets a penalty kick. Beckham sticks that away and the game's over.
Game's over, yep. OK, keep your calls, emails and texts coming and join us after this short break.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
July on Sky Sports.
Brazil challenge in the Copa America.
Arsenal in the Amsterdam tournament.
The NatWest series between England, the West Indies and New Zealand continues.
The 2020 Cup.
And Sri Lanka's tour of Australia.
Counting down to the Olympics in Golden League Athletics.
The Tri-Nation Series.
World Championship Pool and Darts. The Las Vegas Desert Classic and World Match Play.
European and US Tour Golf, including the Smurfit European Open and the Buick Open.
July on Sky Sports. It's unmissable.
The Saturday premiere, sponsored by Diet Coke with Lemon.
It's about love.
My father didn't think so much of you at first.
About friendship. About family.
Jeannie, instead, I'm on my way out to see you.
Like they say, Schmidt happens.
Mind if I join you?
Academy Award winner Kathy Bates, Academy Award winner Jack Nicholson. About Schmidt, Saturday at 8 and 10 on Sky Movies.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
Welcome back. You're on Sky Sports. Delighted to say that Rodney Marsh is our guest tonight on a bizarre end
to say the least.
To say the least. We're still sort of settling down, I have to say, after England lost by 2-1, 2 from Zidane, a beautiful free kick and a penalty as well when England looked for all the world as if they were going to get an opening day win in Euro 2004. Stuart Dunn, once again, the Scots are in. And a number of people have made this point, Rodney. Stuart Dunn from Perth said it should have been so easy. 2 minutes to go, a free kick to France. Had to put a player on the post. M. Humphrey agrees as well. When defending the free kick in the last minute of the game, why didn't England put in place 2 defenders, 1 on each post? It's a tactic that Steve McLaren, in fairness, has used for Middlesbrough at times. But
there's been quite a few managers who have done that. I don't think I've ever seen international level, international football. And what difference does it make if it's the last minute or the first minute? Why would you change it? If it's a tactic you use it any time. I've got lots of emails as well from Scots, and I'll just pick out one. Dave is a Scot, and Dave says, 2 points, Rodney. You look like Wilfred Bramwell from Steps Hudson. That's
kind, isn't it?
England lose to Switzerland, and it's all over for you. So that's from Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Duncan Scott, who finishes his email with Scotland right down the page, says, how can Rodney sit there and say that England did nothing wrong? Owen was never in the game, hardly had a touch. Beckham's penalty was a perfect height for Barthez. The back pass from Gerrard was amateurish at this level, and they're just loving it.
Well, I said, well, you can understand that. What I said was about England's performance was that they made 2 mistakes in injury time. Up to injury time, I don't think they've done a thing wrong.
No, absolutely.
Especially defensively.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Sorry,
here, very briefly, Robert. I've got one here from a referee who makes a fantastic point. He said that that FIFA and UEFA should review the referee's performance. He said that Sylvester should have definitely gone on last man tackle on Rooney, denied an opportunity to score, should have gone off, and David James should have gone off as well for his foul on Henry. I would tend to agree with both of those, and he makes a terrific point by saying if Sylvester would have gone off, England would have been playing against 10 men and may not have, had the opportunities.
Paul Blake, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Paul.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. What do you want to say?
Yeah, just a view on why the 2 guys up front were taken off. Was one of them injured? Because when guys, you're not playing too well, you don't take off a winning team.
Well, this is something I think this is something in the cold light of day that we might hear. We might hear he had a little knock, or he might, I'm sure Spen there'll be one. Whether he has a knock or not, there'll be one in tomorrow.
I agree with you, Paul, and I've said this all my life in football. I don't think when a team's winning 1-0, I don't think you change your players unless there's something dramatic that you need to change. Because Michael Owen can score a goal in the 93rd minute as he can in the first minute, and I've said that all Michael's
with
career.
So many little minutes to go. I mean, you've got guys like Nicky Butt, somebody that can come off and defend and attack as well. I mean, I thought it was just crazy to put on strikers that weren't, you know.
Well, I tell you what, when the tape is replayed and you see how the 2 goals were scored against us, and I know that it's harsh to do that, but you'll see that early on in the move, Hargreaves actually gave the ball away while in possession. He gave the ball away. And at the highest level, when you do that, bad things happen. And I think he was only about, about 10 yards in his own half, and he got possession, gave it away straight away. And from that point, we never got control of the ball again. And at the highest level, you do get punished for mistakes like that. Heskey's foul was a nightmare. And Steven Gerrard will be dreaming about that for the rest of his career.
Yeah. All right, Paul, thanks very much for that. Stuart Timms, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Stuart.
Hello, Rob. Hello, Rodney.
Hello, Stuart.
Do you perhaps think we sit back too much in the game?
Absolutely.
I know they pushed us really hard. They were really at us, and technically, I still think they were a better side than us. But being a good old English supporter, I really do think we sit back too much. Was it that they would just pressurise us in too much, and do we run out of puff?
Well, I said to Rob, we were watching it together, obviously, and I said after half-time, the first 5 minutes dictated the way the game was going to be played.
Yeah.
England sat back and encouraged France onto them, right? Very, very similar to the England-Argentina game that we won 1-0, if you remember in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Right? We dropped back and Argentina attacked us for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like wave after wave. This time we didn't get away with it.
Yeah, but Rodney, do you think if we want to be the best in Europe, the best in the world, we've got to believe in ourselves and go forward more? I know if we're being pushed back, it's difficult, but our distribution from the defence, etc., we didn't really give them many outlets to get away, did we? Rooney, the best player, along with... I thought Campbell was brilliant as well.
Wasn't Campbell brilliant? Yeah.
I thought Campbell was our best player. Rooney was outstanding for his work, but I do really think we need to be, to be able to distribute the ball and get people going.
But do you know the thing that makes me a little bit not angry, because the thing that got to me tonight, even Zidane, who is the greatest player in the world, he was reduced to just lumping balls into the middle.
Yes, he was.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I think we
three times in a row, Zidane got the ball, and he looked up, and then he just clipped it, and Sol Campbell headed it away, and they'd run out of ideas.
Yeah, but I just think if we want to believe that we're going to be world champions one day and European champions...
Yeah, take your point, Stuart.
We really must go and attack these sides the way they attack us.
Yes,
we've got the players, we've got these lads coming through, we've got the ability to be world champions, European champions.
Let's not forget that Lampard scored a fantastic header tonight. That was a great header by any standards.
Yep. Stuart, thanks for that. Interesting stuff. Ian Williams, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Ian.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening, Rodney.
Hi, Ian.
Hello, Ian.
Just a quickie, speaking of Welshman's point of view, it's the fact that, what can I say, that's already repeated tonight, is Sven got it wrong. End of story.
Say that again. Sorry, Ian. I
lost that. You said that Sven's got it wrong. You were talking about substitutions, yeah?
Yeah, Sven got it wrong big time, I think.
Why do you think he got it wrong?
Well, best form of defence is attack, obviously. He took off Scholes, Rooney, and Owen at the end of the day, and brought on lads that weren't capable of fitting in the job. As much I was expecting England to get walked over all night tonight, but Ledley King in defence, I thought he played a good game. Him and Sol Campbell, they found a good match there. They were really good together. But at the end of the day, I think by taking the forwards off and the attacking play off, it just
let me ask you a question. When Rooney came off, and Scholes came off and Owen came off, they were replaced by Vassell, Hargreaves and Heskey.
Yeah.
Did you know where Heskey was supposed to be playing? Because I didn't.
Well, I'm
watching the game, analysing it. I had no clue.
I've never rated Heskey as an England player, to be honest.
No, regardless of that, whether you like him or not, that's not the question.
No.
Where was he supposed to be playing?
Well, exactly. Did the England players know what he was supposed to be playing? because it didn't look like he was playing anywhere at the end of the day. He was just there to make the numbers up. They went on the
I've got to say, that's how it
defensive.
looks to me, Rob.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll throw on Emil Heskey and what? And do what? Run around the pitch for a little while and, you know...
I tell you what, though, start of the game...
There's no plan.
We were talking about it, and I'm sure you come on and say if you didn't, but they would have taken 1-1, they would have taken 0-0. Now, a Steven Gerrard back pass aside, we're talking about 1-1 here.
Before the game, I said to you 1-1.
I mean...
I thought it was a 1-1 game written all over it, right?
and it was it was a bonus, and because you're naturally hanging on 1-0 and you're going further and further back. But we were sitting there, and they always looked comfortable, and you know Thierry Henry and Trezeguet. I mean,
ran out of ideas.
Ran out of ideas. Even the great man Zidane did.
Yeah.
And you know,
do you know
in the blink of an eye,
it's all over. And do you know what, Rob? That football is such a great game that you now have to, within 4 days, you've got to look forward.
Yes.
You've got to turn it around. You've got to get the players lifted up.
It's got to be a different England performance, though, hasn't it, Rodney?
I think
it has to be more, it's got to be more attacking.
I think it has to be a different attitude. I think we have to go out with the attitude that we're a better team than Switzerland, and we're going to beat you. You know, we're not going to... And the first 30 minutes of this game, I think, will be so important because it is a downer now, right? And we've had a terrible result and we got kicked in the teeth. How do you turn that around? You know, when a champion gets hit on the chin, champion comes back flying out the gates. Yeah. England, in my opinion, England have got to come flying out the gates against Switzerland.
OK. Brian Young, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, what do you want to say?
2 points. First point is the build-up games to the Euro 2004. England only won one game against Iceland or Finland or somebody. They never won a game in the previous 5. I don't think they know how to win a game.
Yeah, OK, fine, go on. What's your point?
Well, my point is they didn't hold on,
They what?
The point is they didn't hold on. They lost all their discipline in the last 5-6 minutes.
And we have done that before. I said earlier to you and I were chatting, we did it, I think it was against Romania in the year 2000, when we were comfortable in the game and suddenly everybody has a, you know, it all sort of goes pear-shaped and we lose our heads and we give away goals.
I couldn't see that tonight, Rodney. I couldn't see that tonight.
Do you know what?
I couldn't see that
I would have put my
tonight.
house.
Yes.
You know, if I had one.
Having said that as well, do you know, we were trying to think of parallels. I keep going back to that Manchester United and Bayern Munich, and it was rather like Manchester United and Porto in the Champions League when they had that free kick in the last minute. Manchester United dominated the game. Scholes has had a perfectly good goal, disallowed, and you just knew, you could see written over the United fans' face that they knew they were going to score. They knew he was going to get a goal from there.
And I tell you what, when you looked at Beckham taking the penalty, and maybe it's because of an English mentality, I didn't fancy Dave Beckham to score the penalty one bit, right? But when Zidane stepped up in the 93rd minute of the game,
what a penalty.
You knew he was going to score, didn't you?
Isn't it amazing?
It is.
Danny Rowe, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Danny.
Hi there.
Hi, Danny. What do you want to say?
I just want to...
Hello, Danny.
Why would he never fancy David Beckham to score that penalty?
It was just my feeling. I had that feeling.
But what the main question is really is that whenever England seem to lose, it's always comes down to David Beckham. When there's a mistake made or when there's a goal conceded.
No,
or
you're not listening.
When a big game's lost.
Danny, you're not listening to the programme, son. What we were just talking about, Steven Gerrard's bad back pass and Emma Heskey's foul. They were the reasons, not David Beckham's penalty miss. It was the two terrible mistakes by Heskey and Gerrard.
No, I totally agree. But it's just that it seems that David Beckham holds so much of the country's football aspirations on his shoulders.
Yeah, but that's what big players do. That's why Zidane is a world-class player, because he carries on his shoulders. He carries the French hopes that he's going to do the thing that's going to win you the football match.
Was good as well tonight, wasn't he? He kept driving them forward.
Well, there was a lot of good things from France's point of view, other than the fact that England frustrated them.
They did.
Do you know what as well? If England gets slaughtered for this, I will be very disappointed, because I thought the overall defensive display was fantastic. I thought it was a terrific defensive display.
Absolutely.
And if we win 1-0, everybody's heroes, aren't you know?
This is it. The fine lines between success and
90 seconds of madness.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing.
As Joe Roll always said to me, it's head shaking time.
It is genuine. One of those nights it's head shaking time. It really is. Keep your calls, emails, texts coming in. Join us after this break.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
Sky Sports brings you live coverage of the US Open Golf Championship. The finest players in the world come together and compete for one of the greatest titles in sport. The power and the glory of the US Open, sponsored by the Royal Bank of Scotland Group, starts Thursday at 3, live on Sky Sports 1.
Oh, you want it, do you? Come on, then.
Oh, yeah. Have you had enough yet, boy? Yes!
Bring it on! Who's your mum and your daddy?
Oh, no.
Come on.
Yes! No!
Come on! Yeah!
Player to player, house to house. New live play with 50 grand in prizes up for grabs. Press Interactive and select Sky GameStar.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
Welcome back. You're on Sky Sports. France 2, England 1 in the opening game of Euro 2004. In terms of England, at least 0900 9100 200 is the number to call if you'd like to get involved in the show. Rodney Marsh is our guest this evening. The emails have been flooding in, Rod, and Graham says England were very poor tonight. Zidane had your number all night. No excuses. Lost to the better team. Mark says Vieira was the reason France got back into the game. He was the driving force throughout the second half. Jaguan,
that's true.
Says, he says, I think that everyone is talking too much about individual errors for England's part. I feel France dominated the game, definitely deserved to win. People should be praising Zidane for the fact he didn't have a great game, but under pressure he pulled it out of the bag. And we've been talking about substitutions, why Sven took off Wayne Rooney in particular. And Chris says, obvious reasons for substituting Wayne Rooney. He'd run his heart out, battled. He's only 18 and he needs to be protected. He'll be playing 3 games in 8 days. What have you got?
I've got some real nonsense ones here. One for, I won't tell you the guy's name, so I don't want to have a go at him, but he says that David James was at fault for England's loss. He should have saved Zidane's
thrown his cap on it,
somebody else says, well, I think it's quite funny. Sven should have brought Michael Owen back on for Heskey. Which I thought was quite funny, you know. At a time when we were all a little bit sick, a bit of humour doesn't...
gallows humour, albeit. Andy Beale says, why didn't Rooney square the ball for Vassell to tap in instead of taking on Silvestre? John Leonard, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, John.
Hi, how are you, Rob?
Yeah, good, thanks. What do you want to say?
Hi, Rob and Rodney, good evening. Just a few observations. I think that there comes a time in every manager's lifetime that they got to put their hand up and say he got it wrong, and I think that Sven definitely got it wrong tonight to read the substitutions with Rooney particularly, and bringing on Emile Heskey, and also the tackle by Heskey. He I don't know what was in his head, but he wrapped his leg around the French guy, and if you run the tape there, you'll find that there was 2 English guys coming forward to close him down at that time.
You're dead right about that.
Moving on to the goalkeeper, David James, I definitely think he's a liability. When the
you
goal
can't blame David James for the free kick or a penalty, can you? Surely.
Well, I think, Rodney, with great respect, that the wall is there to do a job, and I think the goalkeeper really should do the other part of it. But there's no taking away from it. It was a great goal. David Beckham, much maligned. I thought he had a great game, really. He did simple things, but sometimes simple things are not enough for people who look at football.
John, OK, you said Sven got it wrong. What would you have done in terms of substitution, or would you have just left it as it was?
I certainly, you know, and I think Rodney will agree with this, that 1 goal is never enough of a lead in an international match like that. You just can't sit back on it. You need to go at them again. I definitely think that Rooney should never have been taken off because he was creating a lot of fear in the French side. Michael Owen, certainly, in my opinion, he lasted longer than he should have been on the field. I would have taken him off.
Listen, let me ask you this question.
Ireland are rooting.
Let me ask you this question, John. If you were the French manager, would you have taken Henry and Trezeguet, who were having a nightmare time?
No, I would never do that because their history would dictate to you that they are dangerous for the whole 90 minutes or 93 minutes.
And Michael Owen's not?
Michael Owen, I think that England set out their stall to play for a draw tonight.
Oh, no, I wouldn't disagree with that. We're talking about substitutions, though.
Oh, substitutions?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's debatable, but you know, I think the French manager did the right thing by leaving those guys on, and it was proven like that. I think Michael Owen really was not in the game tonight, and I'm a Michael Owen fan.
Nor was Henry.
Henry was never as lethal as he used to be, but you know, it came good in the end, and that's all that matters for the team. There's 11 guys on the field. I would say this to the English team. I hope they qualify. In fact, I hope they go on and win it, but they will need to be very, very careful. We've got to see how good they are at attacking now in the next games.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
That's a fair point.
Yep.
Well.
Thanks very much for
will
that.
See, we'll see what they're made of, won't we?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're going to be a champion. It's how you respond, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mark Baton. Hello, Mark. What do you want to say?
Good evening, Rob. Good evening, Rob.
Hello,
I
Mark.
just wanted to say, really, I agree with a lot of the comments that have been said on the show tonight. But one thing that hasn't been mentioned, or two things that haven't been mentioned, is one, the referee I thought was very poor. Some of his decisions weren't entirely. I think that's been the main thing in the games that have been on. And also, I think Paul Scholes. Why was Paul Scholes playing on the left-hand side of midfield and kept drifting in? If you look, Ashley Cole a couple of times was looking to go on the overlap, and Scholes wasn't there to give him, you know, on the overlap for him. And I think that's one of the reasons why Michael Owen was brought off.
Well, I thought Ashley Cole was terrific.
Do you know, the point about that, we're both big Ashley Cole fans. You know, if you're judging a fullback, how well he did, well, Perez was substituted. Yeah. You know, he never gave him a kick.
Correct.
And but the one thing noticeable about tactically or whatever, Ashley Cole always bombs forward. He didn't do that, which was obviously, you know,
yeah, but in the
let's just
second
take
half,
it
he
easy.
wasn't even in the game.
Pardon?
In the second half, he wasn't even in the game.
No, but you see at the highest level, you're winning a football match 1-0 against France, who is a fantastic team. You're winning 1-0. It's up to the other team to break you down. And it looked to me as though Ashley Cole just held his position.
Yes.
And defended.
I'm not criticising Ashley Cole. Paul Scholes. Robert Perez skipped past Paul Scholes twice in the first 10 minutes as if he wasn't there. And he should have been supporting Ashley Cole a bit more often, and he wasn't there. He was drifting into the inside of the midfield.
Yeah, but I've got to defend Paul Scholes. That's not Paul Scholes' role. If you look at David Beckham in the second half, he ended up being a second right back. Mm. He was actually on the edge of the box, clearing the ball, heading the ball right. Scholes doesn't play that way. Scholes is not going to be in front of the left-sided defender. He doesn't play that way.
So why is Spence playing him there?
That would be my argument for the last 3 years, however long it's been.
Yeah. I mean, it's saying that when Owen came off, he wasn't having a great game, so he brought Owen off. When Vassell came off, he put Rooney out onto the left-hand side where Owen was playing previously, and then Vassell was playing on the right, and he started to come into the game. With Owen playing out on the left there, he wasn't getting any play from Scholes.
You must have been watching a different game than me.
Mark, we'll leave it there.
I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
I've lost that one as well. Trevor Borley, you're on Sky Sports. Hello, Trevor.
Hello.
Hi, what do you want to say?
Just want to say, I can't believe it. After all the, the way the guys play in the Premiership, we turn up there tonight. Just absolutely unbelievable. Is it the same team? We're like a defensive football team, aren't we? We're a complete defensive football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got no idea going forward, and I can't believe it.
I think that's unfair to say we've got no idea.
We've got so much talent there, and yet they sit back. We might as well have played just a defensive, a training. It might as well be a training game.
The thing about it is,
Steven Gerrard will have that back pass in his mind day after day after. He would never do that again in his career. He'll never make that mistake again.
Of all people.
Yeah.
Of all people to do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trevor. Thanks for all your calls. Head shaking.
Head shaking. Head shaking.
The heads. The heads
but the big
shaking.
Switzerland game coming up. Come on, England.
Come on, England. What you have to say, if you watch the game, Switzerland and Croatia, and I don't want to say, but they didn't look unbeatable. Should we just go that far?
You can go that far. I think England's got every chance to beat both of them. They should have every chance. We've got to come out strong, though, Rob, for the first 20 minutes. We've got to come out strong and we've got to attack Switzerland. That's my own belief.
Was it? It's this psychological thing, that 7 minutes before half-time you go 1-0 up, and maybe you're right, the first 5 minutes of the second half dictated
collapsed on ourselves. And same against Argentina, where we collapsed on ourselves. We got away with it that time. Against Zidane, you don't get away with it.
No, absolutely. And just in a word as well, that I mean, Sven's going to have, he's going to earn his money, isn't he, to pick him up now?
To motivate the team, and David Beckham missed a penalty against Turkey as well, didn't he?
He slipped that day.
He slipped on that one, yeah. He's missed another one. Who's going to be the penalty taker next week?
You're going to be with us, aren't you, throughout Euro 2004 on You're on Sky Sports. We're going to be here all the way through, so you can have your say. It'll be Paul Bowman and Tony Cottee in the chairs tomorrow night. Hope you've enjoyed it, sort of. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
You're on Sky Sports. So are we.
The toughest league in the world. The best riders from around the globe. 10 teams of 7. Head-to-head over 15 heats to become the Elite League champions. Sky Bet Elite League Speedway, Eastbourne v Oxford tonight at 8. Sky Sports 1.
The all-new Sky One series, The Very Worst, continues.
There was a real bad ringing in both of my ears, and I think he nailed me in the head.
With The Very Worst, near-death experiences. 9 o'clock this Sky One Sunday.
Coming up on Sky Sports tomorrow, live cricket as Worcestershire take on Essex, and live horse racing from Hereford and Newton Abbot.
This is Sky Sports 1.